Hey, this is Charles Onyett with IGN. I'm here with Anthony Gallegos.
Hello.
Anthony, you reviewed Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for IGN.
I did.
You said it was a good game.
I think it's a really awesome game. There's the three components of it just add. There's so much to that there's a reason that at least on PC they're like three separate EXEs because they basically are three separate games in one game.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to go over here was the PC version and the three parts of the game. The multiplayer competitive portion, the zombies mode, and the campaign. And here I'm just going through, these are the graphic settings so you can see what this looks like, what are the options that you have for customizing your experience. And I mean, Anthony, you've been playing the PC version a little bit since it launched. Would you say it looks significantly better than the console version?
I would
a
say
little bit better.
I would say it looks. I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say significantly, because obviously the engine is very much showing its age these days for these games, but it still looks good. And on PC, you're going to get way sharper. Like the aliasing is obviously way better than it is on either console. And yeah, you can do more with the texture. So yeah, it is the best looking, but I still think it looks good on the consoles. But yeah, it still looks pretty great on PC.
And it performs pretty well too, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I haven't experienced any performance things.
So Anthony, what am I looking at here? So these are the classes that anyone who's played Call of Duty, which a lot of people are familiar with this, but this is basically how you build your custom classes.
Yeah, you're over level 5, so now you can create classes, and the create class system is different now because now it's this pick 10 system is what they call it. And so if you look in the upper right hand corner, you can see everything in your loadout has a value of 1. And so each thing, so the gun, the attachments, everything has a value of 1. And so any combination you can do up to 10 is possible. So in this case, you can pick a second perk because you have a what's called a wild card here in the bottom. These allow you to break the rules of the game, the rules that normally say like you can only have 3 perks. Well, you can take perk 1 greed. That allows you to take a second perk in your perk 1 slot, which would mean you could have 4 perks. You can actually build classes with 5 perks, but basically when you do that, there's an opportunity cost. So in this case, if you want to take that extra perk, you're going to have to lose something, whether that's your lethal grenade, your tactical, your pistol, or an attachment for your weapon.
Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, concussion grenades are pretty useful.
They are, but even more than that, EMP grenades are really useful too because they also still stun and slow people and screw up their vision. And against turrets, they're the best way to take them out. In previous Call of Duty games, you could knife turrets and destroy them really easy, but they got rid of that. In this one, turrets are hard to kill without EMP grenades.
Okay, so I mean, if I wanted to take that extra perk, I could drop like this quick draw handle on my gun, my attachment here.
Yeah, and the attachments too are different now too because the attachments are basically some of the perks in the previous games used to be tied to some things that now benefit attachments. So anything that benefits your physical character is a perk. Anything that benefits your weapon is always going to be an attachment. So for instance, the ability to do fast reload would have been sleight of hand in previous games, and now it's a fast mag. It's a double-sided 2 mags taped together. Or that handle is actually what replaces one of the faster aiming perks from previously. The quick draw handle.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to drop anything. Maybe I mean, I was just saying the concussion grenades
I almost
are
find that
useful,
I almost never switch to my pistol in the heat of battle, so it's almost useless for me to take.
Huh.
So sometimes I'll remove that and take
so you just wipe out the secondary altogether.
I do,
and then do that with the X button here. And I'll
yeah,
just be like,
and then I take the hard line, which gives you faster score streaks.
Okay, and I need to use a token to unlock.
Yeah,
this?
so as you're leveling up, you're getting unlocked tokens. In the old Black Ops, there was you earned basically cash, and you could spend that cash to unlock what you wanted when you wanted. This is more traditional, where it's certain things are behind level restrictions, obviously, and then even once you've reached the level requirement, you have to spend a token to unlock it. But they give tokens pretty liberally when you level up, so you will have to make some choices along the way, but most of the time you can pretty much always get what you want.
Okay, and score streaks, I mean, so this doesn't say kill streaks, it says
No.
score streaks. So how exactly does this
So in
system
Team
work?
Deathmatch, they function a lot like kill streaks, because the way you're getting it is that you look in the bottom, and each of these 3 things in your score streaks, they all have a value associated with them. So typically getting a kill is worth 100 points, so if you get 3.5 kills, you can get your UAV. But then they want you to feel like you're getting closer to another, streak benefit, even if you're not necessarily getting kills. So, for instance, if you were to do your first score streak calling a UAV, every time someone got a kill while your UAV was up, you'd get 10 points towards your next score streak. So there are a lot more ways to earn those than just getting kills. And even when you're playing like something like capture the flag, that sort of thing, more than just TDM, you'll be earning a lot more points. Like if you kill a flag character, it's worth a massive amount of points compared to killing a normal guy, which will give you a huge boost towards a score streak.
Okay, so yeah, it's just more of an incentive to participate in the actual objective portion of the objective-based modes.
Correct, yeah.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to hop into a team deathmatch mode and hopefully not embarrass myself. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So
I might.
You're only level 7, which means if you wanted, you could still be playing combat training where it's half people, half bots. That's in there as an option for some people.
Well, that's not exciting, though.
No. The bots, I will say, if you put the bots on the hardest AI difficulty, like in a custom game, they are brutal.
So they're really challenging?
Yeah.
Like in a cheap kind of way? Or in
I feel like they just feel kind of like people. Like when I play against them, they feel... I die pretty much to them just like I would people. And they do less cheap things like, crouch in a place where no one else would think about crouching. They don't really camp as much.
Oh my god, it's happening. We're loading into a map.
In Kyrgyzstan.
But yeah, the game moves very quickly in terms of loading, in terms of getting you into a match. It gets you with players and going all with minimal delays.
Yeah, and so you can see all the multiplayer takes place in 2025. The campaign kind of jumps around in time, but this is all 2025. So, for instance, the gun he's using, MTAR, that's not a real gun, but it's based off of like the actual TAR that currently exists. And then
oh my god, I got a kill.
And then even something
I'm so excited right now.
Yeah, and you're also constantly earning little additional experience for, like, you were the first kill in the whole match, so you got an additional experience bonus for that.
Oh my god, where are they? They're going to pop out of
yeah,
somewhere.
They can be up on the second floor of that building to your left, too.
And knife me in the face or something.
So.
No, it looks like we've got some guys in there. What do you think of the map design in this game compared to previous Call of Duties?
I think I enjoy playing all the maps, though I will say I was kind of talking with Marty, the reviewer from 1UP, about this, that for me, I really like the yacht. There's a giant super yacht level that I think is a lot of fun, but I will say that there's nothing that quite stood out to me in the same way as like a Nuketown and that. But, I will say that if you got a special edition or you did a pre-order, they have Nuketown. And if you want to, you can play Nuketown 24/7. There's like a option just to play Nuketown all the time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think they did a good job with them. They're actually all like they keep everyone focused well enough. Like I'm amazed that you haven't seen someone in even this short amount of time.
It looks like there's somebody behind me.
And
but I feel like as soon as I turn around, I'm gonna get shot.
I think your team got him too. Maybe.
He's probably dead. It looks like there's a lot of guys converging on that position.
But they've also made them small enough. They've also made them small enough that they're all really easy to earn. To learn. Like one or two playthroughs and you already kind of have a good feel for them, which is nice.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, I've only been playing a little bit since launch. Obviously, since I'm just level 7. But yeah, the maps are not large at all. They're pretty contained. But I mean, there's always, from what I've seen so far, and I mean, I don't know all of the map layouts, but I do get the sense that for every entrance there is to a particular cover area, there's
Nice.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's hard to speak when you gotta get a headshot.
But yeah, for every area that there's cover, there's always a kind of exit. There's another way to. That guy just threw a friggin' grenade in here. Come here, buddy.
I think you're okay.
No, he's probably gonna come up the back stairs. Is my guess.
But yeah,
I'm gonna go cover the stairwell.
I feel like the maps are pretty well designed. There's no place where you can just kind of camp and be totally safe. And the whole point of them being kind of smaller, and obviously, like when you're playing on Team Deathmatch, at least you can immediately on PC hit F to respawn. Like there is no downtime in this whatsoever. You are always fighting, and that's always been a big important thing. You can watch the replay, your kill cam, if you want, but there's not really a need for that.
Yeah, don't they have more kind of casting options? I guess you could say, or
yeah, you can do your COD casting on a match that you record, so it's just like a built-in shoutcasting feature. You can also in League Play, you can live stream your games. But to do that, you have to at least have 10 people log on to the URL. So basically, you have to have some sort of social following to be able to put the link out there and be like, I'm going to live stream. So then when 10 people get going, then it'll allow you to actually live stream.
Okay, so I mean, they're basically just checking to make sure you're not just wasting it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like
broadcasting
they
to
can
nobody.
I think that they can only handle so much. So they want to at least make sure that people are watching the stream.
So I mean, in terms of the damn, I thought that was a guy. Oh well. In terms of the, there is a guy up there.
I think
or
you got him.
is there?
Yes. Oh.
He's totally dead. I mean, do you think Call of Duty? I mean, are you still? I mean, I guess you are, but where does it go from here exactly? Because I mean, the mode has become such a huge, feature. What?
Yeah, you pumped.
Feature-rich kind of experience. Like there are so many modes in the game now, and so many different ways to play that it's like, what keeps happening? Like,
I know.
how does it evolve from this point when it's just this huge monster of multiplayer features?
It's tough to say because at some point it's like I to some degree I get the criticism that people throw out there sometimes that Call of Duty every year is like paying for a new map pack, but obviously when they come out each year, it's also a package put together with a single player component, zombies, or Spec Ops if it's the Infinity Ward main games. And so for as far as multiplayer, it's tough to say how they evolve it. Obviously there are enough people who love it just for what it is that they want new maps and that they want those things enough that they're willing to buy it every year, and that doesn't necessarily bother them because of how much time they could put out of it. But to some extent, I feel like to evolve it eventually, you need to almost like offer the multiplayer component separately and just have it be its own sort of single player. Like, I mean, I could see Call of Duty being a free-to-play shooter someday, just the multiplayer component, because for so many people, that's all they care about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even I've been guilty of buying a new Call of Duty and I mean, I don't know if guilty is necessarily the right word, but just going directly to the multiplayer and be like, oh, there's a campaign, yeah, all right, cool, and then immediately playing multiplayer.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know plenty of people. I'm pretty sure our Bobby Amos, who works here at IGN, he never plays the campaigns at all. He immediately just pops it in and does nothing but multiplayer.
And that's funny because Bobby, all he does is play Call of Duty.
Yeah, I know. He has a special controller.
And he's still skipping the campaign.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, it's hard to say how it evolves. I think the Pick 10s thing is a great example of how to make the created class interesting again, because it's been the same ever since Modern Warfare pretty much. So that's a great step, but as far as like what they can really do, I don't know. It's
Add
like
vehicles?
Yeah.
Is that sacrilege?
I don't. Well, World at War had a couple of tanks, and it was pretty terrible. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if they could find a way to do vehicles, but then I guess,
Is it really Call of Duty anymore?
Yeah. Then I don't know if it'd be really too slow paced. I don't really know if they could do it that way.
Because I mean, yeah, it's definitely the type of. I mean, if you've never played Call of Duty, it's super fast paced the whole time. It's just
Oh my God.
I'm trying to not die, considering I was not playing so well earlier.
I think if you hit 3, you'll use your UAV.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's happening. I just called it in.
So now if anybody gets a kill while your UAV's up, see you get 10
I'm getting
points.
UAV assists. Nice.
So those are working towards your next score streak.
Okay. Oh yeah, so you can see the score streak meter in the bottom.
Yeah, and that's showing how close you are to your plane. It's a little thermometer bar, so that you're almost there. If you get another kill, you would probably get your airstrike.
Okay, I would like an airstrike. I would like somebody to just pop directly out of there so that I can kill them. Hey, that guy just threw an explosive over there. I guess I don't really have to worry about that, though.
See, this is the problem. When you get close to a score streak, you immediately start trying to take it careful.
No, I'm starting to get nervous.
I know.
Because I don't want to mess it up.
Smoke grenade.
Should I go through? Yeah, I'm gonna,
he is.
That guy's having a great time over there. I would appreciate if I'm not killed, or if more people could make some kills while this is going on.
The next...
Up. Come on, buddy. I can shoot him through that hay, right? Oh, damn it.
The next evolution of a Call of Duty multiplayer I could see maybe is if the next one is for like a next-gen system and there's like a really big step in the engine, that sort of thing, I could see it being, involving more of the environment in it. So, they've always had the ability to shoot through light pieces of cover, but it's never necessarily been something as significant as, the ability to chip away walls. So almost encroaching on some of that territory that maybe something like Bad Company did, where there's actually terrain deformation, could really change up the speed of Call of Duty.
Yeah, actually, I guess that's a good point. Especially, like I mean, heading into the next generation, when they're, they can consider some increased hardware, at least for consoles. I mean, obviously PCs are so far ahead of consoles at this point that, I mean, you're essentially playing a quote-unquote next-gen experience right now. On a PC, but as they have to focus their development across consoles as well.
Yeah, and I think the mantra has always been to make sure that it runs super fast, so you get that super fast control response. And so they that will always be a concern that on the current gen of hardware, yeah, I mean, they could do what Bad Company does with terrain deformation and that sort of thing, but it would be at the cost of some of that frame rate and performance
Whoa.
issues that, you know, are very precious to Call of Duty players.
That guy shot me right in the face.
Yeah, he quick-scoped you. That was pretty impressive.
Just, I didn't really have a chance on that. Well, I was like, I thought that was a sure kill, and then he's just like, nope. Guess what? I have a sniper rifle, and I see your face.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing on PC is I really hope that they stay on top of managing the sort of anti-cheat services.
Oh, crap.
So,
This is the worst. Oh my god, thank god I killed that guy. I was spraying all over the place wildly.
nice.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I
I got-
think you just unlocked a new perk. There you go.
Sniper down.
Right there, you got additional experience for killing someone that I think he was the guy that killed you last. I think there's a guy right there. Yeah. Nice. You
Run,
saved
run,
someone,
run,
so
run,
you got
run.
additional experience for saving someone too.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I'm getting UAV assist again. I don't know if I'm actually going to build up to that next...
It's really, I will say in TDM, it's in my opinion, it is really hard to get score streaks. Yeah, you just leveled up.
Oh, yeah. So
See,
high level now.
I like that they make all that stuff pretty unintrusive, though. It's all in the upper third and the center, and so
Crap.
I felt like in some of the past Call of Duties, they made it like so blaringly gigantic in your screen. And you're like, here it is, pop, 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 pop. And you're
Yeah, it
like,
basically just looked like a slot machine.
exactly.
There's just giant, obnoxious, like custom tags flying up all over the place. Yay!
Yeah, you
Victory.
guys pulled it out. It was a close game, though.
So much experience. But yeah, now that we've checked out a little, I mean, obviously there are way more modes that you can play in Black Ops 2. But yeah, we'll check out the campaign and the zombies. Oh, wow, that was actually a pretty. I wish that ledge wasn't in the way because that was kind of an awesome.
Hey, you were top on your team, by the way. Good for you.
Yeah, that was very lucky.
Basically, you won that for them.
Well, also their team was totally depleted; they had nobody left. But yeah, sorry. Let us switch over to the campaign and see how the single-player portion goes.
So now we're checking out the campaign here, and about to do some awesome wingsuiting.
Yeah, it does say wingsuit on the screen. I'm assuming something cool will happen as a result of that.
Well, I don't know if you've ever watched. There are people that do this for real.
No, I actually have seen. I've seen footage of them and also footage of them crashing, which looks absolutely terrifying. I can't believe people actually do this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those things that's so Call of Duty, right? Where they'll make you do something totally ridiculous, and it'll be like a one-off thing. This is the only time you'll ever do this, but oh yeah.
So you don't actually shoot people while you're doing this. There's no wingsuit / sniper mission.
No, this is just so you can feel like a totally awesome while you're infiltrating this compound.
Okay, so this is still pretty early on in the Black Ops 2 campaign mode, but I mean, Anthony, what you've completed this mode before?
Oh yeah.
What would you say about this mode overall? I think this is.
I think
obviously Call of Duty comes out every year. There's a lot of fatigue in people who are just like, oh, it's the same game every time, but that's not necessarily true of every single Call of Duty game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always thought the Black Ops, the first Black Ops had one of the better Call of Duty stories, but it wasn't necessarily amazing. And this one I think is really great. It's written by this guy at the studio, the design director David Anthony, and then David Goyer, who wrote The Dark Knight and Blade 3, I think.
Blade 3 or 2?
2. Blade 2, you're right, Blade 2.
Okay, because Blade 3 is a whole different thing.
And so it's actually a really coherent narrative, and I feel like there's like a really great bad guy to it, and I think that it does certain things with the story that are very different from typical Call of Duty games.
Because there's choice involved with it, right?
Yeah, and choice, and not even choice. It's sometimes it's choice, and then sometimes it's just consequence. Like maybe you didn't. Like it might. There are certain levels that will make you think that you are incapable of. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this cool scope. That will make you think that you cannot save someone, for instance, and you totally can. And it won't be until you get to the end it'll be like, you did not manage to save this person. You'll be like, oh, I didn't even know that was something that could happen, and then that will affect how things kind of proceed towards the end. So right now I'm actually playing in a mission that takes place in the future, which is why there are people in cloaked armor.
Yeah, because I mean the storyline does swap around. You're not always in the kind of near future scenario that you're in now. It will go back to, I think it's the 80s.
Yeah,
that
so
it goes
there's
back to?
oh yeah, there's missions in the 80s. So right now I'm playing as the game from the first game's protagonist. So I'm playing as the younger Mason, and you kind of switch between the younger Mason and the older Mason. And then this is Harper, who's like the one of the best side characters in the game. I believe he's voiced by Michael Rucker. You know, the guy that also played Merle, the terrible racist
He was
in
also
The Walking
in
Dead.
Mallrats.
Yes, he was.
Nobody can forget his role.
He
in
was also the
Mallrats.
dad in Mallrats, yeah. And so, you know, it's funny when you get to these future tech areas too, where you get to see some examples of the gun, like this one, which is an A94, which is pretty much just the what they imagine the future equivalent of the AK-47 will be. And also, yeah, you also have these really cool flexible screens on your wrist. Most of it feels very Call of Duty, though, even though there's like this future tech sort of thing going on. Like even the way that you do grenades, they try and put like a little spin on it, but it's still very much there. Like you will notice in multiplayer you don't have the ability to use wrist-mounted grenade launching, but in single player you totally do.
Yeah, and again, it runs very smooth on PC. This is, you know, it's not the greatest PC. This is not like an ultra top-of-the-line machine. We have the settings turned all the way up, and we're getting very good performance. You know, that seems to be a thing that happens fairly regularly with Call of Duty games.
Pushing my luck there, trying to show. There are always these things throughout the these moments throughout the level where there are little consoles you can access, little armor boxes that you can open. You don't have to at all. It's just something you can do to kind of maybe get something in the battlefield that you might not have otherwise had. I'll play a little bit smarter though.
How would you say the encounter design in Black Ops 2 compares to some of the more recent Call of Duty adventures?
I'd say it's pretty similar in the sense that, you know, you're still going to encounter the AI that you know, basically their job is, right, they don't sit there and run around and get crazy. They stop and pop, and if you get behind cover too long, they'll throw a grenade to flush you out. In that sense, I don't feel like it feels that different. But, you know, you will get some variation in the sense, like these guys that have this invisible camo, it encourages you to sort of do things like use your EMP grenades to disable their camo to see them, or you need to have a weapon like this one, which has like a mimetic wave scope that allows you to basically see guys even though they're invisible.
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt that the Call of Duty campaigns are more and more just kind of the spirit of the 80s, like the 80s action movies lives on, and in that it's just completely ridiculous, impossible, but it's all about just kind of delivering as many explosions as it possibly can, and as many scenarios where it leads up to you, and you're like, oh man, am I actually going to be able to get to see that or use that? And then of course you do.
Yeah, I mean, like this part, right? Like, oh, they're basically just feeding me guys to kill right now, you know, just fodder. Yeah, I'm gonna make that car blow up. Yeah, I'm gonna make this car blow up because you just taught me I can blow up cars.
Yeah, it's just like one giant load up sequence / opportunity to use everything you just loaded up with. And I know in this one you actually do have a load up screen for the campaign, right? You can actually customize your loadout before you go in.
Yeah, so for me eventually you're using that sort of pick 10 system again, and I'll put all my favorite attachments and that sort of thing. And there are some restrictions that apply, at least the first time you play through. Obviously, they don't want you necessarily, you know, playing your first time through and taking like a future weapon in the 80s.
But you can eventually do that?
Yeah, from what I understand, I believe on your second playthrough you can. Don't quote me on that 100%. I still need to play my second playthrough, but Mitch was telling me there's an achievement tied to that. IGN's Mitchell Dyer.
Okay.
So, I need to find a new gun.
So, I mean, if you just ran sort of beyond where these guys were, would it just trigger the next portion of the... Oh, God.
I was about to say, we're going to find out, Charles.
Yeah. Oh.
It's okay. It's all part of the show. You know, I think they do a pretty good job of gating me from being able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like
but I will say,
I mean, this is also on hard, so it's not veteran, but it's also not like the standard difficulty either.
Yeah, and I will say that I don't feel like this game isn't as egregious with the whole, like, you know, I think in the past they've always done a pretty bad job sometimes with the feeling that there's like monster closets and you have to like reach a certain point before guys will stop spawning. And in this, I never really felt like that was the case. Okay, let's see.
And so you do get in vehicle sequences throughout throughout the game as well. So you do, you know, I mean, you were just in a turret there, but I guess you get in more kind of large-scale explosive situations.
Yeah, there are definitely parts where like you have to do. There's one mission in particular where you end up flying a jet and you're kind of freeform flying it for a brief amount of time, which is pretty different. most of the time they would just make you operate the turret and the jet would kind of fly itself, or kind of be on rails. And in this one they give you direct control. And there's also more bizarre ones where you're operating spy robots, or you might have to take direct control of a four-legged walking robot. So yeah, they definitely still get that vehicle thing in there, but it's not the traditional sort of operate a tank and just blow everything up. It's still, you're usually fighting alongside ground soldiers like this. They just are trying to get across that whole idea of drone combat, and unmanned vehicles being a big part of future combat, which in all likelihood they will be.
Probably. Seems less risky, although you're risking a lot of money.
Yes, that's very true. I am not.
Which in some cases maybe that's more important, depending on who you're talking to.
Okay.
And also, I mean, what about the shock value? Because that's something that's always come up in more and more in Call of Duty games, where it's like, oh, how do we one-up ourselves after we did that ridiculous, or the airport shootout is always the example people go back to, and it's like, well, how do we do something crazier than that? And it's always, do we really need to? Was that really the correct direction to go in the first place?
Right.
Where does this game sit in there?
Yeah, there's that level no Russian, but. And this one, obviously when you first start the game, it's going to ask you, do you want to see offensive like
content?
Stuff? Yeah, offensive content. And so there obviously still is some of that, but it's different. In this one, I will say that there is a part that gets incredibly violent still, and that's there's obvious parts where that's what they're referring to when you have that disclaimer at the beginning. But I do feel like it's more purposeful in this than it has been in past games.
Okay, so I mean, it's violence to support whatever they're trying to say, more than just violence for violence's sake.
It's violence to support how tragic certain characters are in the game.
But I mean, this is still far from sensitive. I mean, how many people did you just murder?
Oh yeah, I mean, by the end of the game, you're going to kill like 1,000 people. You would be the world's worst murderer.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's funny that they put the warning up that says, do you want to see violent content? And then it does take out some graphic violent content, but then you go on and you just kill 40 guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, guess what? I'm still going to murder a bunch of people.
Graphic content, you may not see a guy get blown up or something, but you're going to see people get shot in the face left and right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's kind of weird. And I mean, yeah, it's just it's still a disconnect.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of, a big kind of blockbuster, the military shooter genre, where it's just kind of this linear, heavily scripted thing, you would say this does a very good job of that.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably a cut above the vast majority of them. People in the comments for our review were comparing, this and Halo, which to me it's apples and oranges. They're very different games.
Yeah, Halo is more sandboxy a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, they sort of dump you into a large combat arena, and then you just have a huge selection of enemies running around, all with very different AI patterns. And obviously they throw vehicles into the mix there too, that you can kind of use if you want to, or just blow up. So it feels a little bit more experimental in Halo, where you're kind of given this toolbox and asked to figure out how to use it properly, whereas this is more kind of reflex.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I just feel like there are other companies and other people that have tried to do the sort of military shooter, and the guys that work on the Call of Duty games, they get it. Like, they know how to do it in a way that no one else ever quite matches. And maybe that's because they have, way too big of a budget to work with.
Well, how many people worked on this game? Like 80 to 90 million?
Yeah, I don't know. When you finish the game and watch the credits, you will notice they are long.
Are the credits actually longer than the campaign?
Not quite, but I will say that they are some of the longest credits I've ever sat through.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work went into this, and I think it shows. I mean, to me, it's fun. It's just something. The campaign is a lot of fun and actually has some moments that manage to be successfully emotionally engaging, which is pretty unprecedented in a Call of Duty game.
Right. Cool. Well, yeah, next we'll go to a mode that doesn't really make any sense at all.
Yeah, no, it's the completely ridiculous.
Yeah, which is zombies. All right, Anthony, what is happening right now?
We are in the most ridiculous of all Call of Duty modes, the zombies mode. So we're actually hopping into what was, before the game came out, they kind of called it the campaign. What it really is it's called Transit, and it's better likened to an adventure, because you kind of come in and you don't really know what's going on with the world, and so it's kind of up to you guys to kind of experiment and figure it out. and the thing that I like about it is that people get really good at figuring things out. Like, so for instance, we just all worked together and assembled this turbine from parts we found. It doesn't tell you what this turbine does.
What did that turbine do?
But it powered this door. It just opened this door for us.
Oh, okay. It didn't. The fan didn't blow the door open, though.
No.
Just to be clear, how that worked.
It's literally just a power source.
Okay.
And that opens the door in the first round. And there's a lot of tactics that go into Zombie. It's totally different style gameplay. You know, it's still about surviving against waves as long as you can, and kind of you earn money for killing zombies. You earn money for rebuilding defenses, but there's just so much strategy that goes into it. But on top of it, what makes Transit kind of special is that we can now. Here, I'm just going to tell everyone. Or no, they got it. We're going to get on the bus. And so there's this bus now that will take you around the world and take you to these other areas. And that's kind of what makes it really special. Here, I'm just going to open this door so they'll come.
And I mean, just in case you've never played zombies, it's not like you beat this mode.
No.
You die.
Yeah, I mean, I've never beat it. I'm sure there will be some people that will get through all of it and find everything and complete it. But, you know, how that sort of ending works is really anyone's guess, because the guys at Treyarch play it very close to their chest. You know, they do not want anyone to know the secrets of Transit. They want them to figure it out. Like even when I was playing with them, they wouldn't tell me what the turbine did. They were like, figure it out. You know, that was just kind of their MO with it. So, that, you know, the whole thing is that this bus will take you around between these different areas, and this teammate better get on. Okay, he almost got left behind.
That was really last minute.
You can walk into the fog, which the bus takes you between these fogged areas relatively safely. The zombies will sit here and chase us, but otherwise, if you wander into the fog, these monsters that look like demon babies will attack you. So there's all kinds of hidden things.
So if you were to exit the bus, you would encounter one of them.
Yeah. Except in some areas, there are five areas that you can fight in between and defend. And then there are even areas like this. This is not one of those areas, the main areas. But right there, I can see a spot to buy a weapon. This is an area where right now we could get off and kind of explore and see what's out here. But I am way too scared to do that.
Also, your bus just drove over like a magma pit.
Oh, yeah, there's lava everywhere. And so the lava actually has effects that they don't even explain to you. You just kind of figure out naturally, too. If a zombie is on fire and walks over lava, if you shoot it, it will explode and do exploding damage. So that's like another thing you have to take into account. But
so
yeah, I mean,
that's actually good though, right? Assuming the zombie is in a pack of other zombies and not close to you.
It's mostly that they just get on fire to get as close to you as possible and then blow you up. It becomes a really big issue later on. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and so, you know, this is super tongue-in-cheek mode. Like, there's this weird, you know, robotic, zombie-looking bus driver.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just like Westworld.
Voiced by Nolan North, the same guy who does Nathan Drake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a random role.
Yeah. Well, that guy does... Oh, man. This pistol's already worthless. Okay. That's the thing.
Your bus is like... so they're going to explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a little explosion, but when they're on top of you, it does a lot of damage. I actually think that we're going to not live very long. We're doing okay. We're doing really bad, and there's a lot of zombies. Oh god. Okay, Charles.
So yeah, I mean, clearly this is definitely as many modes as are in the multiplayer. This is something entirely different.
Yeah, and this one you can, if you don't want to do the whole roaming around with the bus thing, you can just pick a survival area from the menu, and you can just do like the holdout as long as you can in that one area. And then there's also a 4v4 mode as well, where you fight with your team to see who can outlast the other team. But yeah, you still have the same
So
sort of...
there's kind of a competitive element there.
Exactly. And you still have these random mystery boxes that give you strange, you know, presents.
Like a pistol.
Yeah. Let me see. I know that there's usually a part in here. Oh.
So I mean, this does seem like a pretty big upgrade for the zombie portion of the Treyarch Call of Duties.
Yeah, you know, originally in World at War, zombies was just sort of an Easter egg after the credits, that there was like one map and that was all you could do, and now it's like this. I mean, it is a full-on mode with like.
It's become an entirely different game.
Exactly. And so, like, they have a whole team that works on this now, you know, like, working and designing zombies and trying to create, like... There isn't necessarily a lore that they'll beat you over the head with, but there's a lot of things that kind of get implied to you throughout the playing this as you discover new areas and that sort of thing.
So you're saying Michael Rooker is not in the zombies mode?
No, he's not. The 4 characters in this are totally ridiculous. Like, you know, you have this, like, this kind of, like, a very hick redneck style girl, and then there's the one guy that looks like the John Goodman's character in Big Lebowski.
I thought you were going to say Arachnophobia.
Oh no, well that would be even better.
The Exterminator. I'm pretty sure John Goodman played an Exterminator
He did.
in Arachnophobia.
He did,
Okay.
yeah. But when you get downed, this is when things get really bad.
Well, that
right
guy's
now,
going to
see,
blow up if you shoot him, right?
we're already on wave 4, and my pistol is just pretty much worthless.
Yeah, you're going to need to
I should have upgraded,
get some upgrades there.
but I was spending my money to do things like open doors for people. We could get back on the
bus
bus
is
and
honking
leave.
at you. Oh, now it's driving.
Okay,
That
apparently.
seems like the bus shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the
I
thing.
mean, not that the zombies are entirely realistic,
Well,
but okay, now
Not everyone got on the bus.
now there's just a problem. Can they catch up? Yeah, so you can you run faster than the bus drives? Uh-oh, you're into the mist. Are we going to see demon babies?
Yeah.
Is he getting attacked by a demon baby? Oh god. Oh, that's really creepy looking. It's like got a giant head.
Yeah. Let me see if I can revive her. Oh,
Oh no.
I can knife it off me. Oh god, but the zombies caught up.
Hey, achievement. Thank you.
I made a mistake coming back for her.
We've made a huge mistake.
Yeah. But yeah, this is how typically zombies plays out. You do it, you have a failing, and then you learn from that so that the next time you jump in, you apply the knowledge that you have now gained to the next time. And so you start to develop a routine and sort of a language where you're like, okay, after 2 rounds, we go to the gas station. After round 4, we go to the barn. After 1 round at the barn, we go to the science lab, or as we called it, Cabin in the Woods. And if you play it, you'll figure out why we called it that.
Okay, spoilers.
But yeah, there's always something to be learned, and even when you fail, like we did, it's
And so
not bad.
there is an end to it.
Yeah, there's definitely an well,
Maybe.
yeah, I believe there is an end.
Probably.
Yes, but I've never even gotten past wave 9. So, this person's trying. They're holding out. He wrote it all the way to the barn. So, but I think he's
Yeah,
like it's basically over for him.
I don't think it's going to work.
He can if he fights off the wave, we respawn. But you know, we neither her or I have very much money, so even if we respawned, we wouldn't be very much good to anyone.
Okay, so I mean, at this point, we've gone over pretty much all of the content, and obviously we haven't seen all of the content, but gone over pretty much all of the content that's in Black Ops 2. So, Anthony, would you say that, is this your favorite Call of Duty game?
Oh yeah, for sure, hands down. Like, you know, I enjoy a lot of the Call of Duty games, but this one, like the zombies mode, is actually really a lot of fun. Oh, he managed to make us respawn. For all the good that's gonna do. The zombies mode's really good. The single player campaign really is surprising and actually, you know, manages to tell a really good story in my opinion. And the multiplayer with the Pick-10 thing is pretty exciting all over again. So yeah, to me, I think that the next, you know, we don't know if it'll be Modern Warfare 4, but I'd be very surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's going to have its work cut out for it to kind of step up from where this one's being.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, moving forward, I mean, obviously this is this is a popular game. People like Call of Duty. Who knew?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can expect to see more Black Ops 2 coverage on IGN in the future.